The Bible is filled with wonders, angels singing in the heavens, demons cast into the abyss, miracles that shake the earth. But hidden in its pages are creatures few dare to talk about. Beings with eyes covering their wings, monsters rising from the sea, fiery serpents flying through the sky. What are they? Where did they come from? Are they real, symbolic, or both? And why don't we hear about them in Sunday school? Today we're digging deep into the ancient scriptures to uncover 10 mysterious creatures in the Bible. Creatures that go far beyond angels and demons. Beings that have haunted prophets, baffled scholars, and left even the boldest trembling in fear. And stick around until the end, because one of these creatures may still walk among us today. Welcome to the Bible Stories channel. If you love uncovering powerful, forgotten truths from the Bible, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with someone who loves the mysteries of Scripture. First, Leviathan. Beneath the waves of the ancient deep, something stirs. In Job chapter 41, God turns to Job and speaks of a creature so fearsome, so untamable, that no man dares to challenge it. This is Leviathan. God says, "Canst thou draw out Leviathan with a hook, or his tongue with a cord which thou lettest down?" It's a taunt, not to humiliate Job, but to remind him of divine power. Leviathan is no ordinary animal. He is described with armor-like scales, eyes that shine like the morning, and breath that kindles flames. Out of his mouth go burning lamps, and sparks of fire leap out. Out of his nostrils goeth smoke, as out of a seething pot or cauldron. Job 41, 19-20. This is a creature of chaos, of flame and fury. His heart is said to be as firm as stone, and his very presence causes mighty men to flee. God adds, "Upon earth there is not his like, who is made without fear." Job 41:33. But this isn't the only mention. In Psalm chapter 74, verse 14, the psalmist writes, "Thou breakest the heads of Leviathan in pieces, and gavest him to be meat to the people inhabiting the wilderness." Multiple heads, a sea monster, possibly a dragon. Some scholars believe Leviathan symbolizes the untamable forces of evil or chaos. Others argue it was a real creature, long extinct, perhaps a massive sea serpent or prehistoric beast. But whatever it was, Leviathan stood as a symbol of God's unmatched authority over creation. Even the monsters of the deep are subject to him. Second, Behemoth. After challenging Job with the Leviathan, God presents another mysterious creature, Behemoth. In Job chapter 40, verses 15-24, God describes this beast as one of his chief creations. "Behold now Behemoth, which I made with thee. He eateth grass as an ox. Lo now, his strength is in his loins, and his force is in the navel of his belly." This is not a predator. It is a massive, herbivorous force of nature. Its muscles ripple with power. Its tail is compared to a cedar tree, tall, thick, immovable. Some have speculated this refers to a hippopotamus or an elephant, but no known animal has a tail like a cedar. Others suggest it may point to a sauropod-like dinosaur, described long before modern paleontology. God continues, "His bones are as strong pieces of brass. His bones are like bars of iron." Job 40:18. This creature is not just mighty, it is untouchable. "Surely the mountains bring him forth food. He drinketh up a river, and hasteth not. He trusteth that he can draw up Jordan into his mouth." Job 40:20-23. Behemoth is a creature that cannot be captured. God says no one can pierce its nose or take it with snares. Like Leviathan, it stands as a reminder. No matter how strong man becomes, there are still forces in creation beyond his control. Was Behemoth real? Or was it a symbol of the wild, primal strength of the earth? Perhaps both. But one thing is clear. It is no ordinary animal. It is the work of the divine hand, fearsome, majestic, and eternal in its mystery. Third, Nephilim. Before the Great Flood, the Bible speaks of a time when heaven and earth collided in a mysterious and controversial way. Genesis chapter 6, verses 1-4 tells the story. "And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. The result? There were giants in the earth in those days. The same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. These giants were called the Nephilim. But who were they really? Some believe the sons of God were fallen angels who took human wives and produced hybrid offspring, part celestial, part human. Others interpret them as ancient kings or warriors with immense power and influence. But the mystery deepens in Numbers chapter 13, verse 33, when the Israelite spies report back from Canaan, and there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. Even after the flood, echoes of the Nephilim remained, towering figures, feared warriors, legends whispered across generations. Some scholars suggest the term Nephilim literally means fallen ones. Others say it refers to those who made others fall, conquerors, tyrants. Were the Nephilim the offspring of angels and humans? Were they simply ancient giants? Or were they something far more? Something lost to history, hidden beneath the floodwaters? Their presence in Scripture is brief but powerful, just enough to stir the imagination and leave us wondering what really walked the earth before judgment fell from the sky. 4. The dragon. Not all creatures are meant to inspire awe or wonder. Some bring fear, chaos, and destruction. One such creature is the dragon, an ancient, fearsome being described in the book of Revelation. In Revelation chapter 12, verses 3-9, the Apostle John tells us of a red dragon, so powerful, so terrifying, it could make the heavens themselves tremble. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. This is no ordinary beast. The 7 heads represent complete power and control over the earth, while the 10 horns show its authority over nations and kings. Its tail, so strong, so mighty, sweeps 1/3 of the stars from the sky, symbolizing a massive rebellion against the divine order. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. The dragon is not just a terrifying force, it is bent on destruction, specifically targeting the child born of the woman, a figure often associated with the birth of Christ. The creature's intention is clear: to devour, to destroy, to conquer. This dragon represents not just any villain, but Satan himself, as Revelation 12:9 makes clear. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil, and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. This image of the dragon is apocalyptic, a creature of war, chaos, and deep evil. It is a symbol of the ultimate spiritual battle that is to come, the war between good and evil, light and darkness. And so, as we journey through the pages of the Bible, we see this dragon representing all that opposes God, the ultimate embodiment of Satan's rebellion against divine order and his unrelenting quest to destroy God's creation. 5. 4 horsemen's beasts. Imagine a vision so vivid, so terrifying, it shakes you to your very core. That's exactly what Revelation chapter 6 offers us. The terrifying appearance of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, each one riding a distinct horse, each one carrying a message of destruction. In this chapter, the Apostle John witnesses the opening of the 7 seals, and with each seal, a new horseman rides out, bringing with him a beast of destruction. But who are these riders and what do they represent? The first rider, mounted on a white horse, is often associated with conquest or false peace. And I saw and behold a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. Revelation 6:2. Some interpret this rider as a symbol of false leaders or conquerors who bring false hope to the world, spreading deceit and control. Next comes the rider on the red horse carrying a sword. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. Revelation 6:4. This is the rider of war. His mission is clear: to sow conflict and bloodshed, tearing nations and families apart in his wake. The third rider comes on a black horse, carrying a pair of scales. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. Revelation 6:5. This is the rider of famine. With the scales, he weighs out the price of food, indicating a time of great scarcity. People will struggle to survive, unable to find enough to eat. Finally, the rider on the pale horse named Death follows. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. Revelation 6:8. Death comes riding on a horse so pale, it seems to embody decay itself. His presence is overwhelming, bringing death to all corners of the earth. With him is hell, ready to claim the souls of the fallen. Each of these riders, each of these beasts, represents not just literal events, but the unfolding of a cataclysmic spiritual battle. They symbolize the ultimate collapse of society, peace, and order. Some believe these horsemen are symbolic, visions meant to warn us of the coming destruction, while others argue they represent real future events, a glimpse into the final judgment and the end times. But one thing is certain: the four horsemen and their beasts are harbingers of the ultimate conflict, showing that no one can escape the power of these heavenly beings. 6. Locusts from the abyss. Imagine an army of creatures so horrific that their mere description sends shivers down your spine. These are no ordinary locusts. The Bible speaks of them in Revelation 9:3-11. Creatures unleashed from the very depths of the abyss during the final judgment. John, in his vision, describes them as locusts upon the earth. But these locusts are not like any we know. These are creatures of unimaginable terror. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. Revelation 9:3. Their appearance alone is enough to terrify anyone. They have the faces of men, the hair of women, and wings that sound like the chariots of horses rushing into battle. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were, as it were, crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men. Revelation 9:7. But the true horror lies in their stingers. They have scorpion tails capable of inflicting torment so severe that it causes suffering for 5 months. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. Revelation 9:10. These locusts are not just mindless creatures. They are led by Abaddon, the angel of the abyss. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. Revelation 9:11. Abaddon, whose name means destruction in Hebrew, leads this terrifying army. Some see him as a representation of the destruction that will come during the final judgment, a powerful, destructive force unleashed upon the earth. What's chilling is that these locusts are not just symbols of a coming catastrophe. They are said to torment those who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads, as if they are agents of divine wrath, sent to punish the wicked. This army of locusts from the abyss is part of the great and terrible events that will unfold during the end times. They symbolize a terrifying judgment, one that no one can escape. What will this army of nightmarish creatures bring? Will it be a literal event, or is it a symbolic vision of a spiritual battle? Either way, the locusts from the abyss serve as a warning, a reminder that the forces of destruction are real and the final judgment is coming for all. 7. The beast from the sea. Among the many terrifying creatures in the book of Revelation, none is more mysterious or unsettling than the beast from the sea. Described in Revelation 13:1-10, this creature emerges from the depths of the ocean, symbolizing power, evil, and the worldly systems that will oppose God in the end times. John's vision is vivid, and the creature he describes is unlike anything that walks the earth. He writes, And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Revelation 13:1. This beast has an appearance like no other. Its body is like that of a leopard, but its feet are like the feet of a bear, and its mouth like the mouth of a lion. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. Revelation 13:2. What does this mean? The leopard, bear, and lion are symbols of ancient empires. The Greek Empire, leopard, the Medo-Persian Empire, bear, and the Babylonian Empire, lion. Combining these features signifies that the beast represents a culmination of these powerful earthly kingdoms, perhaps a final empire or ruler who will unite all worldly powers against God. But it doesn't stop there. The beast also has 10 horns, each one wearing a crown symbolizing 10 kings or rulers who will align themselves with this creature in the last days. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Revelation 13:2. The dragon, of course, is Satan, who grants this beast the power to rule. This terrifying beast is allowed to reign for a short time, but during this period, it will blaspheme God, make war against the saints, and even persecute those who remain faithful. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. Revelation 13:7. The beast's reign is a symbol of earthly arrogance and rebellion against God, a time when human rulers and systems, corrupted by evil, will attempt to crush God's people. But it's also a warning, a reminder that those who place their trust in worldly power and authority will face the consequences when God's judgment comes. Who will rise as this final ruler? Is it a literal individual, or does this beast represent a broader system of corruption and tyranny that spans across the ages? Either way, the message remains the same. The beast from the sea is a harbinger of ultimate destruction and judgment, and its coming will mark a dark chapter in human history. Will this beastful ruler arise soon? Only time will tell, but one thing is clear. Its appearance marks the beginning of the end. 8. The beast from the earth. Just when you thought the terrifying visions in Revelation couldn't get any worse, here comes another creature, the beast from the earth. Unlike the first beast which emerged from the sea, this one rises from the earth, and its role is just as ominous. Described in Revelation 13:11-18, this beast is often referred to as the false prophet, and it plays a key part in deceiving the nations during the final days. John describes it in chilling detail. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Revelation 13:11. At first glance, this creature appears harmless, even peaceful. It has 2 horns resembling a lamb. A lamb is often a symbol of innocence and peace, but as we know, appearances can be deceiving. This beast may look like a lamb, but it speaks with the authority of a dragon. And that dragon is none other than Satan. This subtle deception is what makes this creature so dangerous. On the outside, it may seem benign, but its voice is the voice of evil. The beast from the earth isn't just a talker. It performs miracles and great signs to deceive the masses. John writes, "And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men." Revelation 13:13. Imagine the power and spectacle of this creature performing miracles. Fire coming down from the sky. It will amaze people and lead them to believe that it is a divine being. But in reality, it's all a deception. This false prophet will use signs and wonders to mislead the nations, causing people to worship the first beast and ultimately Satan himself. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Revelation 13:14. Through these miraculous acts, the beast from the earth will convince people to accept the authority of the beast from the sea and lead them into rebellion against God. But the deception doesn't end there. This creature will demand worship. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Revelation 13:16. This mark, known as the mark of the beast, will be a sign of allegiance to this final world ruler, and without it, no one will be able to buy or sell. The false prophet will enforce this mark, and those who refuse will face persecution and death. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Revelation 13:17. The number of the beast, 666, has become infamous throughout history, and its significance is the subject of much speculation. But one thing is clear. This mark will be a symbol of complete submission to evil, and those who take it will forever be separated from God. The beast from the earth serves as a warning to all who place their faith in signs and wonders, rather than in the truth of God. This creature is a counterfeit of Christ, a false Messiah who will deceive many. But just as the first beast was ultimately defeated, so too will this false prophet meet its end in the final judgment. 9. The fiery flying serpent. Our next mysterious creature comes from one of the most intense times in Israel's history, the wilderness journey after their exodus from Egypt. The creature we're about to talk about is known as the fiery flying serpent, a strange being that's associated with God's judgment on his people. You might be wondering, what exactly is a fiery flying serpent? Well, the Bible mentions this creature in Numbers 21:6, where we read, "Then the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and many people of Israel died." These fiery serpents were not ordinary snakes. They were creatures that God sent to punish the Israelites for their complaints and rebellion during their journey through the desert. But there's something particularly unique about these serpents. Some translations describe them as fiery, which has led to speculation about their supernatural appearance or their ability to inflict burning, painful bites. The people of Israel had been grumbling once again, as they often did, complaining about their hardships and lack of food. In response to their disobedience, God sent these serpents to bite the people, and many of them died. The fiery description could be referring to their venomous bite, which caused excruciating pain, or it might indicate a more supernatural aspect to these creatures. Some kind of otherworldly serpents, possibly even with wings, as suggested by the flying nature mentioned in some translations. In Isaiah 14:29, we get another mention of these serpents. "Rejoice not, O Philistia, all of you, that the rod that struck you is broken, for from the serpent's root will come forth an adder, and its fruit will be a fiery flying serpent." This verse seems to describe the serpent as something with a broader, more symbolic role, a creature tied to judgment and destruction. The idea of a flying serpent takes us beyond the usual earthly serpents, suggesting something that may have had divine or supernatural characteristics. But there's more to the story. After the Israelites were struck by these serpents, they pleaded with Moses for help. Moses prayed to God, and God gave him a command to make a bronze serpent and mount it on a pole. Anyone who had been bitten by the serpents could look at the bronze serpent and be healed, as described in Numbers 21:8-9. The Lord said to Moses, "Make a fiery serpent and set it on a pole, and it shall be that everyone who is bitten, when he looks at it, shall live." So Moses made a bronze serpent and put it on a pole, and so it was, if a serpent had bitten anyone, when he looked at the bronze serpent, he lived. This act of looking at the bronze serpent was a powerful symbol of faith and repentance. It's also seen as a foreshadowing of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, who would later be lifted up on the cross for the salvation of humanity. Just as the Israelites were healed by looking at the bronze serpent, so too are we healed spiritually by looking to Jesus for salvation. This fiery flying serpent serves as a stark reminder of God's judgment on sin, but it also illustrates His mercy in providing a way of healing and salvation, even in the midst of punishment. Whether the serpent was a supernatural, fiery creature with wings, or a more symbolic representation of God's judgment, its role in this pivotal moment in Israel's history is undeniable. It's a story of disobedience, punishment, and redemption, one that would echo through history and be given deeper meaning in the New Testament. 10. The woman clothed with the sun. Our final mysterious creature is one of the most enigmatic and powerful images in the entire Bible, a symbol of divine protection and cosmic struggle. This is the woman clothed with the sun from the book of Revelation. You might have heard of her before, but let's take a closer look at the imagery that surrounds her. In Revelation 12, the Apostle John records a vision that is both captivating and deeply symbolic. Here's how he describes the woman. And a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. She was pregnant and was crying out in birth pains and the agony of giving birth. Revelation 12:1-2. This woman, clothed in the sun, with the moon under her feet and a crown of 12 stars, stands as a powerful symbol of something much larger than just a figure in a dream. Some interpretations say this woman represents the nation of Israel, or perhaps the church, as both are often portrayed as women in apocalyptic literature. The sun, moon, and stars may symbolize God's glory, the divine order, and the fulfillment of God's promises to his people. But the drama intensifies as we continue the story. The woman is not just a peaceful figure, she is in the throes of labor, giving birth. And as if the birth of a child wasn't already intense enough, the passage takes a dark turn. A great red dragon, described as having 7 heads, 10 horns, and 7 crowns, waits to devour the child the woman is about to give birth to. The dragon, of course, symbolizes Satan, who is intent on stopping God's plan of salvation through this child. And another sign appeared in heaven. Behold, a great red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his head 7 diadems. His tail swept down 1/3 of the stars of heaven and cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman who was about to give birth, so that when she bore her child, he might devour it. Revelation 12:3-4. This is a powerful image of cosmic warfare. The dragon, Satan, represents the forces of evil that have always been set against God's will, especially in the form of the coming Savior. The dragon's attempt to devour the child shows the ever-present conflict between good and evil, as Satan tries to destroy the plan of redemption before it can even begin. But the story doesn't end with the dragon's plan succeeding. The woman's child is born, and though the dragon tries to seize him, the child is caught up to God's throne and protected. The woman, in her distress, is taken into the wilderness where God provides for her. This imagery speaks of the protection and care God offers his people, even in the midst of trials and persecution. The birth of the child is seen by many as a symbol of Jesus Christ's birth, and the dragon's defeat is a prelude to his ultimate defeat at the hands of Christ. In this dramatic and apocalyptic vision, the woman clothed with the sun represents not only the physical birth of Christ, but the eternal struggle between good and evil, and the final victory of God over all forces of darkness. It's a reminder of the triumph of divine purpose, despite the forces of destruction and chaos that try to thwart it. As we close this chapter, the imagery of the woman, the dragon, and the child gives us hope in the midst of spiritual warfare. It shows us that God's plans cannot be stopped, no matter how strong the enemy may seem. The child that the dragon seeks to devour ultimately reigns victorious, and so too will God's kingdom come in the end. This final creature, this cosmic battle, is a reminder to us of the ongoing struggle we face today, both in the world and in our personal lives. But it also assures us that, just as the woman and child are protected, so too are we protected under God's care and grace, no matter the forces that may try to oppose us. We've journeyed through some of the Bible's most mysterious creatures, ranging from fiery serpents to cosmic battles. These creatures, both strange and powerful, show us just how layered and complex the scriptures are. Each one of them tells a story, whether it's about divine protection, judgment, or the eternal fight between good and evil. But as we reflect on all that we've discovered, I want to ask you, which of these creatures was new to you? Was it the terrifying Leviathan, the powerful Behemoth, or perhaps the enigmatic woman clothed with the sun? These creatures have sparked debates for centuries, and they continue to intrigue us. Do you think these are real beings, symbolic representations, or perhaps a mix of both? There's no shortage of interpretations, and each viewpoint adds to the mystery of their true meaning. Maybe some of these creatures were physical entities that walk the earth, while others might represent forces at play in the spiritual realm. I'd love to hear from you. Which creature stood out the most to you? Do you have a favorite? Or perhaps a creature that you find most mysterious or chilling? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's continue this conversation and explore these mysteries together. And if you've enjoyed this journey through the strange and mystical, don't forget to hit the like button, share this video with friends, and of course, subscribe for more deep dives into the Bible's hidden secrets. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay curious, stay inspired,